In case you want to move it.
Oh, I'm going to leave it at that. Good afternoon. Good evening. That's true. I have been here for too long today. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our CITI-STAT review meeting. The purpose of these meetings is to listen to your concerns, and we have the team of our directors who are responsible for responding to those concerns. But before we start going to all the nitty-gritty of the meetings, I would like to call our Honorable Mayor Rick Gaciora for opening remarks.
Thank you, Maria, and thanks everyone for coming. This is important. It's just as important as the council meetings, where all 10 directors appear before council to answer their questions. This is our citizens' opportunity for you directly to interact with our 10 departmental directors. So this is important. We want to hear from you. We want to move the city forward. We want to make things better. I know a lot of times it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me as the mayor, but I know it's frustrating for a lot of our citizens who don't see pothole fixed, a road paved, a sidewalk taken care of, a tree trimmed, but we're trying. We have 60 parks, 60 parks, and I think we do a pretty good job with them. And we have a health department, recreation department, police department, fire department, law department, and they're all working together to make this city better for you all. So we're interested in what your concerns are, and we will try to address whatever problem or concern you do have. But thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. For those of you that are already seated in the room or coming, please, if you are planning to express your concerns later, you need to pick up one of those boards and sign in, write down your concerns, and we will be calling you later on. But for now, I'm going to introduce our Acting Director of Housing and Economic Development. She is going to present us the details about GovPilot and property lookup. Ms. Yolanda Vasquez.
Good evening. I'm going to do a brief description on how you can look up a property on our website using our GIS link to GovPilot. Wow, this is small. Forgive me, I didn't know it was going to be this small. When you go to the city website, which is trentonnj.org, you would select How Do I from the main menu. If you could see on the screen, it's a How Do I underlined it in red so that you can find it. If you want to do that, because I'm like, it's very small. I do apologize. Under the view selection, you're going to select Geographic Information System, GIS mapping. Thank you very much. Once that selection is made, you will see an interactive map of the city of Trenton. Up in the corner, it will tell you to search the address field, and you can enter the property which you would like to search to see what records exist for that property. Once you do that, you will see the map, and you see the red is the property I selected so that I can show you what it looks like. And then once you do that, in the corner, it will give the address and some information, but not everything of ownership, because some of that you have to Oprah. Once you select it and open it, you will see a photo of the property and the whole home screen. Each blue icon you can select, and that will show you what record exists for that property. and it will give you a brief description in the corner. If you see the arrow, I pointed to the corner. Once you select the record, anything that we can show without an Oprah request will show up. And any details you want from that record, you would have to just simply submit an Oprah request. And that is it for tonight's. Okay? Thank you.
So this information that Ms. Vasquez just shared with us is good for those of you that are interested in purchasing city properties, and you want to do your due diligence before you actually come to the city, right, and submit your request to purchase certain property. So you use this tool basically to gather initial information, and probably before you even go to the site and see the properties. But this is very useful to give you the initial information, the surrounding areas of any property that you might be interested in purchasing, or a property that is a abandoned property and that you want to report it to the city as well. You can use the same GovPilot to report those properties or any other issues. In a upcoming meeting, we will be talking also on how to use GovPilot to report those issues. And now I would like to call the police director to give us a report on the stats for his department, Mr. Steve Wilson.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Let's get into it. Okay, first slide. First slide indicates our a crime analysis comparing last year to this year for the same time frame. That'll be available after CITI-STAT will be posted. But the interesting thing is, in the time period, we had 0% increase in crime as compared to last year. But I want to emphasize that homicides, sexual assaults, robbery, and auto thefts are down. Property crimes are up. There's a reason for that. A lot of our property crimes offenders, when we arrest them, they don't remain in jail, and that's kind of a bail reform issue that's all over the state. But in spite of that, we still, for this time frame, we still have a 0% increase or decrease from the same time period last year. With our violent crimes are down. Next slide is our firearms recovery for the city. We've recovered 16% more firearms in the same time period as compared to last year. And I think this slide has a lot to do with the previous slide, in that we recover these guns through our operations a lot of the times before a crime has been done, with the use of a gun. And you can see the first bar graph is handguns, the seconds are rifles that we take off the street, and the third are shotguns. Most crimes are involving handguns in the city. Okay, these are our calls for service. 24 compared to 25. First bar graph from there, all four wards, east, north, south, and west. These photos are actually taken from our newly designed communications center. That's actually some of our personnel there. It took a bit of time, but we upgraded our communications and radio system and 911 phone system. Here is our arrest by district, citywide, east, north, south, and west, and out of jurisdiction. Comparing 24 to our 25 statistics. and the change is a negative 5%. We're arresting less people. Hopefully that's due to the fact that we have less crime in the city. Next slide is our notable assignments. Of note, 492 Greenwood Avenue, we had a victim with a gunshot wound. We were able to investigate and take into custody the offender and charge him with aggravated assault and weapons offenses the same night that the shooting happened. The next notable assignment was a commercial burglary on Genesee Street. When the officers arrived there was packages being thrown out of the window. We were able to apprehend the burglars and recover a seriously large amount of CDS from the resident. And at the bottom of the slide is our community concerns. The complaint that we received was illegal dumping in the area of Clinton and Greenwood Avenue on Canal Street. This generated activity from the police department in the form of extra attention in the surrounding areas, and a quality of life summons was issued in that case. The second complaint that we received for the police department was increased transient population causing a rise in prostitution in the area of South Clinton Avenue. This generated activity from the police department in the form of increased patrol presence, monitoring activity, and gathering intelligence for a possible covert operation. Year to date, should take note of this. For our homicide task force, our clearance rate year to date is 80%, which is above the national average. Our shooting response team, for shootings where someone was struck, the clearance rate is 74%, which is double the national average. And for non-hits, it's 72%. For our robbery assault unit, our clearance rate is 63%, which is also higher than the national average. And for our arson unit, our clearance rate is 100%. And I'm told that that 80% is very close to going up, just a little bit more that we have to do. Next slide is the information slide. These are our contact numbers in the police department. So if you would, when the CITI-STAT gets posted, please take a look at this particular slide. It's contact numbers for our communications, for our detention facility, for our criminal investigation bureau, our internal affairs bureau, and the patrol front desk and records, as well as contact information for TPD tips. If you see something, say something. And our outreach partners, community street teams, their email website is up there, and also for recovery advocates for our opioid response team is on there as well. And you can find this stuff if you go to www.trentonpolice.com. It's on our website. And you can like and follow us also on Facebook. And lastly, but not least, our community affairs unit. It has our email address for the community affairs unit and each detective and which ward that they work, and also their email address. If you have any concerns that are in your ward, this will tell you which detective that you should email and contact regarding those concerns, or if you have any events and you would like them to come out and assist or anything like that, you can do so. And that's it for the Trenton Police Department.
Thank you, Director Wilson. And just so that you know, starting in our next meeting, which is September 17th at 10 o'clock in the morning, we will start having our community officers to come. We would like for you, the residents, to become familiarized with them, that you recognize their faces, and that, you know, if you see them in your neighborhood, that you are able to approach them with your concerns as well. So starting the next meeting, the community officers will be attending these meetings too and interacting with you. It is important that you know who is in your neighborhood. So now we will have our last presentation, and it will be the Director of Public Works, Mr. Onetiri. After that, then we will start getting your questions.
Thank you, Maria. And good afternoon, everybody. My name is Wale Onetiri. I'm the Director of Public Works. And I have here with me Assistant Director of Public Works. So we would like to have that conversation. And thank you, Mayor, for being here too. And Harlan Cherry, thank you so much for the job you've done for putting this together. Public Works, we do a lot for the city. We have a lot of complaints that come into our departments from various places, and we go out there to do some things also. As you can see up there on the wall, we have we get the waste disposal for the city. We do road construction because we get a lot of complaints about potholes, which is one of our concerns that we really worry about. So there you can see that we do all the street linings on the traffic of the roads. And also, if you have any complaints to call, these are the divisions that we have for any issue you have. But if you have any issue, the director's number is there to call, to also reach out to us to get things done for you. We also have, if you have on your streets that you think you have traffic issue like speed hump, you come down to City Hall, to engineering, to get the applications, to have it done. We have rules that goes with that. So I'm not guaranteeing you that every street in the city will have speed hump, but we will be able to work with you with the number of people we have to do that. Also, right now we are doing road construction. This is the season for road construction. We've received a lot of complaints about potholes. And most of our streets that we are receiving these complaints of are streets that we are already doing road construction on them right now. So there will be less complaints of potholes. And I'm glad to tell you that we intend to do 50 streets in the city of Trenton. And so far, we've done like 25 of them, and we'll continue to do those. And then also, we have 4 things that we're doing right now this season. We will be, again, citywide cleanup, which we did prior, and we're doing it again in October. So we're hoping all the residents will be able to work with us when we put out the flyers and the news to put out every trash we have to do. As you can see, the slide, where's the slide? As you can see the slide that we have up there, this is public property, the Division of Public Property. They are responsible for cleaning the city properties and the lots in the city that we do. If you can look at that slide up there, you can see that so far this year, we've done less. And the reason is some of those properties have been disposed of by the city, and some of them are taking care of, the neighbors are taking care of things. So that kind of help us reduce the numbers there. Also, this is streets. The streets, we receive a lot of complaints from them also for the potholes. Like I said, most of these roads that we get the potholes, we are able to do road construction now. So that kind of covered up a lot of these complaints we have. And the next one is solid waste management. These are the guys that pick up the garbages, and we have the inspectors who goes out to take care of complaints. And on holidays, we do put out flyers, robocalls, and information for residents not to put out their trash. But still, we have some people that put up trash. So we have inspectors goes out there, and nobody getting warning anymore. Now they're getting citation tickets straight to appear in courts, because we've said this many times, we've put in flyers out there, and that's what we're working on. We have people giving tickets now. And this right here, I would like residents to put Gov Alerts on their phone, because the Gov Alerts allow you to give us information for us to know what do you want us to do. And we really appreciate the residents being able to give us information, because we need it. from the residents as much as we see it. It would be a great thing if everybody can have GovAlert on their phone to do this. That's it right there. So if you have any information, reach out to Public Works. Thank you.
Anyway. Thank you, Director Onetiri. In the screen right now, you have the results for the last meeting. We are not going to go over those, but those will be uploaded to our website. So if you want to go to Google's or whatever search engine, just City of Trenton, CITI-STAT meeting, and all the results for the meetings will show up there, including the presentations for today. In a few days, you will also be able to download the results for this meeting. And so now we will proceed to the reason why you are here, to hear your concerns. So everybody will have 2 minutes. And I would like to call first Ms. Thelma Myers.
My name is Thelma Myers, and I live 24 Edgemere Avenue. I really was not going to come today to do a complaint, but it's a tiny one. I came today to say thank you because the last time I was here, I complained about a vacant lot that was full of weeds and it needed to be cut. And also someone had broken into a vacant house and was using it for the dog. So I'm telling you, when I woke up the next day, they were in that lot cutting the grass. So I really, really appreciate it. And the lady from the pound, she called me and they went in there the next day too. They removed the dog. Well, they got in touch with the owner because he came when they were there. I was on vacation at the time when that happened. But you know, we're so easy to grumble and complain about everything, but we never, when something good comes about, we don't take the time to say thank you. So I just like to say thank you. So the little complaint that I have is one vacant house and the house next to it. The grass and the weeds are very high and they're leaning on towards the sidewalk. And I'm hoping that they could get a citation or something to at least cut their grass to make it halfway decent, and then you don't have to be dodging weeds. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Myers, for taking the time to compliment our staff, and kudos to the departments for responding so quickly to the concerns. That is the idea. I neglected to mention earlier that the directors are to respond to these complaints within, I'm going to give them a little bit of grace, within 72 hours. So by Friday, hopefully tomorrow, every department will be sending their staff out to assess whatever complaints you have. And those things, those items that are actionable, the expectation is that they will act on it immediately, and that they will be contacting you within 48 to 72 hours. So thank you, Ms. Myers. Now I'm going to call the representative from Oakland Civic Association.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mrs. Walker. I'm here also to say thank you to all that came out to Oakland Street and Hoffman that dealt with a lot of issues over there with the drugs and the hanging on the corner and everything. And also on Nordak Street, which I live, they also felt the potholes, and we are thankful for that. But also, we still have some concerns about the open drug deal on Oakland Street. And I don't know, maybe somebody could tell me an answer. When do we see I don't see officers riding that much in my neighborhood. And maybe not just the people come and complain, maybe some of the head staff need to take a ride in our community and see for themselves what we come here and talk about. Because even though we make a complaint, they pass it down to someone else and leave that responsibility on them. But I think as the head of any department, they have a responsibility to get out there and see what this city is about. And as I looked at the stats, the rest, I'm like, I can't see it on Oakland and Hoffman. I truly can't, you know. And now they're holding up the bus stop. School's getting ready to start. We don't need that in our community. We truly don't. We don't need it. And another question I want to ask, I come from a technology field. Why aren't there cameras in the areas that we're having problems? You have a telecommunication that you just spent a lot of money on. I know there's someone monitoring, looking at, to watch those cameras. And if they don't, I could tell you what, I'll come out of retirement and watch for you free, because we got to invest back in this city, because we need it. This city is too small for the problems that we have. And it's not many, it's few. We got to stop going out of the way for those that make trouble for this city and start doing it for those that want to live here, work here, and raise our family. And that's all I got to say. And again, I say thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Ivy Avery?
Good evening. How's everybody tonight? I want to piggyback on what some of the ladies already said. The quality of life issues that we have here in this city can be solved. They're small enough. Now, I had written some things down here. I have my concerns. I'm going to try to be fast because this is 2 minutes, not 5. So one of the things that really bothers me is the unsightly conditions around many properties, which include overgrown weeds and tree limbs hanging and people don't cut. I'm a retired teacher and I'm a senior citizen. I get my grass cut every 2 weeks. All right, they cut down all the way to the curb. They get the grass out the street. I'm sick of seeing these places. There's an apartment complex across from me that must have over 100 apartments. They cut up to their fence. They leave all the leaves on the inside of the fence, and when they cut to the street, they cut around the poles. You got it looks horrible. So I know there's an ordinance. I wrote it down, some about chapter 8, and you all know it's supposed to be liens if they don't do it. These people that own these properties need to be held more accountable. Our city is ugly. It shouldn't be that way. Now, quickly, I've talked before about Mercer Hospital. I live in that area. A group that I work with has a park right across the street from where the hospital was. It's called the Serenity Garden. I clean the Serenity Garden. I go up to Rutherford Avenue. I cross the street, and I come back down the other side. Now, I know that the city Public Works, y'all clean the outside. You can't clean the inside because the developer said so. That's not right. The school kids go to Gregory School. And when they go to their school every day, what they're seeing is something that is ugly and unsightly in the city that they live in. That tells them that they don't matter. They don't matter to the people that live here. So I'm requesting that the inside of Mercer Hospital be cleaned up, that the shrubbery is removed, that the bushes and the trees that are hanging on the sidewalk on Prospect Street are cut for the children that go to that school. So when they go to the school starting in September, they can see something that, yeah, it's a little beat up, it's run down, but it's clean. Can we do something about that? That was one thing that I really, really am very concerned about, and I've spoken about it before. The other thing is, quickly, and the police director's not here, there's not enough crossing guards. I understand that. I know that they have to pass drug tests. Some people can't pass a daggone drug test. And really, senior citizens don't want to get out in Trenton streets because these people are driving crazy. They don't stop for the school buses. They run red lights. As a senior citizen myself, I wouldn't get out there. So, is my time up? Oh, that's what that means? Oh, Mayor, could I just have one more minute? He said I could.
The police Captain Slack.
Oh,
Yes. Captain Slack, could you please speak to Miss Ivory? Thank you, Miss Ivory. Miss Latanya Ashford.
Hello, Dr. Latanya Ashford-Lagon, Mercer County Community College. What I spoke about last month was probably more long-term. Today, my concern is, because I'm not sure who to address it, is the crosswalk. So once again, related to Mercer County Community College, specifically the James Kearney campus right there, 102 North Broad Street. So we're at the intersection of North Broad and Academy Street. There is a crosswalk with the actual lines and buttons. The crosswalk buttons do not work. And so we have an active additional buildings across the street, our Trenton Hall and our health building. We spoke about the speed of cars zooming through. So we need a way to have those repaired so the crosswalk does work. So that's my one concern today. How do we go about getting that repaired and up and working? Okay, classes begin September 2nd.
Miss Ashford, Mr. Anthony Santora is going to address you outside. Miss Carol Jones.
Good evening, everyone. But first, I want to address the podium to say my name actually isn't Carol Jones, because I didn't know that they was going to actually call everyone up. This is my first town hall meeting. My name is Yolanda Claiborne. I own property in South Ward. I've been living there since 2003 when I purchased the property. The drug addicts in the area is really bad. I have a disabled son. The nurses come, they're afraid because they're hanging around my front porch. Drug needles, there's an alley. I live at the intersection of, Chestnut and South Broad Street. They're there all times of night. They come up on your porch. You ask them to move. They drop in garbage, condoms. Sometimes I go out in my yard, this is my husband. They're in the back of the yard turning tricks with their pants down. And these things are happening in broad daylight. And it's getting to the point where I'm in the process of trying to purchase property outside of Trenton, because it's like one day an officer was passing through. I didn't get a chance to get the car number or his badge. So I'm like, you see this? Because they were along the side, because I'm on the end property. He says, well, what do you expect? This Trenton. So I'm like, with that type of response, I'm a taxpayer, also a public employee that's trying, to make the best for my family. And again, like I said, it's hard, especially when you have a disabled son. His bus pulls up, the wheelchair, you got the bus drivers or bus aides. They're like, if I'm not there, they're panicking because they don't know. They walk up and they approach the bus, they check your cars. If you don't lock your car doors, they're going and ramble through your cars. And this is a daily thing, and it's getting worse each day. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Nicole Jackson.
Hello, everyone. Mine is very minor, but not too minor. But I don't live too far. It's in north area, and we have like a small little park in our area. It's a nice little decent neighborhood, but the park is not utilized by anybody because there's dogs in there all the time. The gates, I guess they're wrought iron, and they have a bricked post that has been knocked down, and it's been laying inside of the yard, the park area, for over 11 years. They repaired it, but they put chicken wire instead of actual wrought iron back around the gate. But my suggestion would be to turn it into a dog park, because that's where our neighbors, bring their dogs and everything to play, run, use the bathroom. But, and then also around the corner is the methadone area where the drug addicts go to get their medication. We're seeing them inside the park, falling asleep, sleeping in the area. And I'm not bringing my dog, and she's very small, and I'm not going to take her in there. And I don't know what would happen as far as that's concerned. So it's like a hangout spot for them. And like I said, like she said too, she's a public worker, so am I. I pay my taxes. I shouldn't have to come outside and then have to go back inside and wait for them to leave so that I can bring my dog out, because I don't feel safe. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Ms. Lawanda Cook.
Hello, this is my first meeting. I live on 146 Walnut Avenue. I've been with CITI-STAT for 5 years, and we have went through a numerous of different management. There's no maintenance, no pesticides being done. We've been threatened with water shut-off notices. Right now, PSC&G has shut off the emergency lights. So when you come in and out, you can't see. And lately there's been new people in the neighborhood who's been lingering. I don't know who they are. I live by myself. My daughter's off to college. So I don't know if they're watching or what. So I'm afraid because there's no lighting to see on my porch. So if I'm coming in at night, I can't see if somebody's up there. Another thing is we get unexpected inspections that's supposed to be, but they're not. So I don't know who to talk to when it comes to these people who's coming in and out. And we've been told that each management has been robbing the tenants of their rent money. So I don't know who else I need to talk to about that.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. Ms. Ophelia Travers?
Hello, my name is Otelia Travers, and I'm basically piggybacking off of Ms. Lawanda Cook. I've been residing with CITI-STAT for over 6 years. We haven't seen extermination since I've been here. I've been without lights for 7 months, even though my bill was paid. I've been without electricity in my kitchen due to the electrician issues with like the wiring and things of that nature. I also was without water heater for 7 months. I was displaced for 3 months due to these issues, to the apartment being condemned because it was inhabitable to stay in. I do want to give a thanks to the city of Trenton for housing me for 2 weeks when CITI-STAT refused to do so. I also want to give a thanks to the McBalls because they did help it out as well. It took CITI-STAT about a month for them to step up to house myself and my children. Right now, I'm living in another apartment where they basically put me in to shut me up. It's still things in there that are not fixed, but it was better than the condition that I came from. The city health department has helped out as well. They've come out when called to do their inspections. So I want to give a thanks for that. I want to just say thank you for your time and for being a listening ear.
Thank you, Ms. Ophelia. Dr. Cherise Smith.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Cherise Smith. I am newly retired from the Trenton Public School System. I was the social studies supervisor for grades K to 6. And I often ask my students and their teachers to become civically engaged in the community in which they live in. And if we don't feel that we have a voice as adults, how are we going to ask kids to do the same? So I want to give kudos to the city, one, for upgrading Cadwalder Park. It's been a part of my life. I have been here most of my adult life here. That park has been a centerpiece of my life. I broke an ankle, sprained some ankles in there, but it's still, I love the place. So I want to give kudos to the planters. I even noticed the bricks along the edging of the circle, beautiful. I was like, wow, when I looked at it. I do have some concerns. One would be, I live in the West Trenton section in the Hillcrest neighborhood. I was a part of getting the speed bumps on Maple. Actually, this was a part of a lesson that I had for my students here in the city on how you can become civically engaged when you have a problem. The speed bumps need to be redone. The construction that was done by PSC&G and the city workers, this I don't even come down where it's from Stuyvesant to Reading. It's too bumpy, and it's not safe. The lines need to be repainted for the stop signs. We have a school, we have children who school's about to start. We have 4 stop signs. People blow through them right away. Blow through them. I sit right on the corner. And catty corner from my residence is 69 Reading Avenue. That has been vacant for over 28 years. My daughter's 28. That's how I can remember how long that building has been vacant. Has caught fire at least 3 times that I know of. I've talked to city council member about having some of the roofing that was blowing off one bad storm because it was hanging over the sidewalk where the kids were walking to school. The city contacted the owner. The owner came out and fixed it, but it's still a problem. We have to call every so often to have the city department come out and do the weeds. There was a shopping cart left there on the grass. There are times when me and my husband went over to clean the garbage. I do that on a weekly basis. I know Miss Ivy does it in her neighborhood, and I do it in mine. I am invested in this community, and I would love to speak to whomever additionally about some other issues as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. We had a 10th resident, but she mentioned already to me that her concern was addressed by somebody else. So this seems to be it for tonight. Expect phone calls and expect to see our folks addressing these issues. Almost every issue that was brought up this morning is an actionable thing that should be addressed immediately. So I hope that all of you come to the next meeting and say that we actually solved those matters. So thank you so much for your time here tonight. Next meeting is Wednesday, September 17th at 10 o'clock. To be able to accommodate those that cannot come in the evenings. So if you could come back just to keep us informed and keep us accountable. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week.